I decided to pick this problem to give you an example. And I suppose it'd be nice if I had my tablet up and running. Okay. Let's see what they give us. It says H naught, P is equal to 0.35. H1, P is not equal to 0.35. Okay, N is 400. And X is 196. Okay, let's see, B. If the researcher decides to test this hypothesis that alpha is equal to 10%, so telling us alpha is 10%, compute the probability of making a type 2 error, beta, if the true population proportion is 0.38. True population proportion is 0.38. What is the power of the test? Okay, I won't do this one. This will give you an example. Nothing additional down there, so this is what we're given. So let's go through our test, or steps. Okay, write down the claim. Well, there's no claim. They jump directly to H0 and H1, which is write down the null and alternate hypothesis. Draw your picture, determine your tails. Since we got a not equal to on H1, that means we're going to have 2 tails. I think I have a... Right here, I talk about how do you determine what kind of tails do you have. Okay. And step 4, find ZA sub L and or ZA sub R. In this one, we'll have both of them because we have a left one and we have a right one. Okay, so ZA sub L is going to equal to INV norm, and we need to figure out how much to put in here. Well, if they tell us alpha is 10%, alpha is how much you split in your tails. I got 2 tails, so I'll put 5% in each tail, and together those add up to my 10%. Now, if 10% is in the tails, that means 90% is in the main body. Okay, so ZA, well, let's see, left tail, INV norm alpha. Well, this right here is left tail, but actually 2 tails where I want to be. So it's alpha divided by 2, which if you look at it, here's ZA sub L, the area to the left is 0.05. So that's going to give us ZA sub L. Now ZA sub R. It's also going to be the area to the left. And here's ZA sub R, and the area to the left of it, you have to add up the 0.05 and the 0.90, which would be 0.95. And I say to round those to 3 decimal places. Okay, so let's go do that. Second vars, INV norm, 0.05. And second vars, INV norm, 0.95. So this is negative 1.645, and this is positive 1.645. Okay, that was step 4. Step 5. Okay, find P hat sub L and or P hat sub R, and then we got 2 tails, so we got P hat sub L and P hat sub R. So our picture is changing. This right here is going to be P hat sub L, the one on the left, and this one will be P hat sub R, the one on the right. Okay. And around 3 decimal places. This says P naught is a number from the claim. So our number from our claim is 0.35, so P naught is 0.35. Okay, let me write down these formulas. P hat sub L is equal to P naught plus ZA sub L square root of P naught times 1 minus P naught all over N. So P naught was 0.35. ZA sub L was minus, so minus 1.645. Then the square root of P naught, which is 0.35, times 1 minus 0.35 over N, which was 400. And we'll plug that in the calculator here in a minute. Let's go ahead and write down P hat sub R. I think it's the same except for this is ZA sub R. Yeah, everything's the same. So this is P naught plus ZA sub R square root of P naught times 1 minus P naught over N. So we'll have 0.35 plus ZA sub R, which was 1.645. Then the square root of P naught, which is 0.35 times 1 minus 0.35 over N. N was 400. Okay, so let's see what these give us. 0.35 minus 1.645 square root, and we got 0.35 beginning parentheses 1 minus 0.35 closing parentheses divided by 400. Enter. And round to 3 decimal places. Okay, so this one's 0.311. Now this other one's the same way except it's plus. So I'm just going to do a second enter to bring up previous entry. And then come up here and I'll put a plus in there. And we get 0.389. Okay, so let's go to step 6 now. It's quite a few steps in these problems right here. Let's see what step 6 says. Okay. Find Z sub L and or Z sub R. We got 2 tails, so we got 2 of those. So, and again, we're changing our picture now. The picture now looks like Z sub L and Z sub R. Okay. So Z sub L is equal to P hat sub L minus P over square root P times 1 minus P all over N. Okay. P hat sub L we found up above. It was 0.311. Now it tells us what P is. It says P is the true population proportion. And remember up above, we said the true population proportion was 0.38. So put 0.38 in here. And then I got square root of P, which was it P? Yeah, P. So 0.38 times 1 minus 0.38 divided by N. N was 400. Okay. This is kind of tricky to plug in. If I had to guess, this is probably where you're going wrong. Is we have to put parentheses on top. Anytime you have more than a single number or a single variable or a single square root like we got on the bottom, you have to put parentheses on it. Okay, we'll go do that in a minute. Z sub R, I expect is probably the same except for it's P hat sub R. P hat sub R, yeah. Okay, so everything's the same on that except for this is P hat sub R minus P over square root of P times 1 minus P over N. So P hat sub R is 0.389 minus 0.38 over the square root of 0.38 times 1 minus 0.38 divided by N, which is 400. And again, when we plug in that top part, we want to put parentheses around it, like that. Okay, so let's see what that gives us. So beginning parentheses, do this one on the left here, 0.311 minus 0.38 close parentheses divided by second x squared for the square root, 0.38, beginning parentheses 1 minus 0.38, closing parentheses, divided by 400. Okay, let's see what this is. Round to 2 decimal places. So this would be negative 2.84. Okay, this one. I can bring up previous entry, second enter, or I can just type it in all again. But the only thing that changes is that 0.311. Everything else remains the same. And I'm going to put in 0.389. There we go. And to 2 decimal places, 0.37. Okay, so let's look at step 7. We got 2 tails. So this says we're going to do normal CDF, Z sub L, comma, Z sub R. So beta is going to equal to normal CDF and negative 2.84, comma, 0.37. And let's see what that gives us. Second var's normal CDF, negative 2.84, comma, 0.37. I want to take it to 4 decimal places, I think. 0.6, the spreadsheet says, but 0.6421. 4 decimal places, yeah. So 0.6421. Now, the power of the test is 1 minus that. So if I do 1 minus that, that'll give me the power of my test. So 1 minus 0.6421. 0.3579. 3579. 0.3579. I thought it'd let me to submit this. Submit grade? Hopefully I didn't just submit your grade. Oh, that's if I change it. But that's how you get those two. I was thinking it'd let me actually check it, but that's weird. Oh, you have to click ask my instructor for me to be able to do that. Anyway, that's how you work those problems.